Hello, friend. Welcome back. My name is Kristen Hotop. I am a health and wellness advocate and a gut health educator here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I am glad that you are here tonight and on another episode of our Get Healthy series, or my Get Healthy series, I should say. So it is freezing cold here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hopefully you are staying warm wherever you are at. As you are hopping on tonight, please say hi. Let me know that you are here. And if you're watching the replay, please drop in #replay and let me know that you were here. So tonight we're going to talk about the silent killer, which you may or may not know is inflammation. So inflammation is a huge deal, you guys, when it comes to your health and your future health. So let's talk a little bit about that tonight. So gut flora, or your gut microbiome, is the root cause of disease. So if your gut is not healthy, you are more likely to have disease and other issues in the future. Inflammation can be called the catalyst for most diseases. So if you have inflammation, you are going to get to those diseases sooner, because inflammation speeds up that disease process. So there are very few symptoms of chronic inflammation, which is why it's called the silent killer. So it smolders. So the article I was reading today talked about, this was a great analogy today that I was reading. It smolders for a long time and then it erupts. And once it erupts, those symptoms are often shown too late, and you've either had a bad outcome or you've gotten to a point where you can't reverse whatever it is. So some of the diseases that are associated with inflammation include heart attacks. So if you had a heart attack, you may be dead and may be too late to do anything about it. We also have cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's are the other big three. And so inflammation and controlling inflammation and managing inflammation is huge to your current health and your future health. And so that's what I want to chat a little bit with you tonight. And so I want you to know that wherever you are not stuck there. You can make a change today that will lead to a better tomorrow, a better future, a better health trajectory to wherever it is that you are going. So, friend, there is hope and there is health, can be health in your future if that's what you choose, if that's what you want to do. So, inflammatory foods. Let's start by talking about the things that you want to avoid. So you want to avoid vegetable oils. Now I know those are super easy to grab off the shelf, the regular vegetable oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, all of those types of oils are very inflammatory. So if you think about when we talk about going to fast food places, they have a lot of fried foods, and so it's important to avoid the fried foods and anything that's fried in vegetable oil because it causes inflammation. Now, I know I'll talk about the anti-inflammatory here in a second, but I'm sure you're thinking the same thing that I was thinking when I was reading this. Well, what do I do if I need to cook things in a little bit of oil? Well, use olive oil. And the recommendation from the article is to use cold pressed olive oil. And so pay attention to what it is that you are buying and choose better. All right, so next is sugar. Sugar and sugar byproducts. And so high fructose corn syrup, I've talked about this before. Make sure you're reading your labels, checking to see what's in those foods that you are buying. Avoid sugars if you can, avoid those high fructose corn syrups, and especially avoid the artificial sweeteners. So those are very damaging to your gut and they can cause inflammation. So again, choose better. And so if you do have to choose a sweetener, choose a honey, choose a stevia. Those are going to be your plant-based better alternatives. Next, we want to avoid baked goods and packaged foods. So baked goods, those are highly inflammatory because they've got a lot of them have those sugars that are in there. They've got processed and packaged ingredients in there that may have those vegetable oils, it may have those artificial sweeteners in there. All of those types of things are going to add to the inflammation. And so whenever you can, choose the whole foods from this perimeter of the grocery store. So those are going to be your better choices. Whole foods that you chop up, and I know sometimes it isn't always easy to do or to have time to do those, but it really doesn't take that long. And that's one of the things that I found is you can make a healthy meal in 30 minutes. Now I love Rachel Ray. I don't know if you've ever watched Rachel Ray, but she has a show called 30-Minute Meals, and I love to use those because it helps me visualize that it doesn't really take that long to make a healthy meal. Now, not all of our stuff is healthy. A lot of our stuff is cooked in a lot of oil and a lot of butter. But you can make those substitutions. You can make things the way you want them to be in a healthier manner. And I love Google because you can Google, what can I substitute for this? And it will tell you usually 4 or 5 different alternatives that you can substitute in there. And then the last one on the list from the article that I was looking at today is to avoid or minimize your inflammation is to avoid antibiotics. Now, I've said this before on other videos. I'm not saying don't ever take antibiotics. I'm just saying limit them to those times where it's a serious illness, when it's actually a bacterial infection that you're dealing with, because antibiotics don't help with viruses. So don't fall into a trap of taking antibiotics for every little thing. I had that issue with my son. I think that's part of the reason why my son has such had such a damaged gut before I started him on the health and wellness products that I am taking, and he's now taking too. Our whole family takes them. But he was on a lot of antibiotics for ear infections when he was younger, and I think I swear by it that is the reason why he's had some behavioral and other gut issues throughout his 12 years. So avoid antibiotics when you can. That also does include birth control pills. All of those can cause inflammation in your system. So what can you do? What are some anti-inflammatory foods that can help? Well, we've got probiotic foods and prebiotic foods, both that can help. So your probiotic foods include your sauerkraut and your kimchi. So you want to look at the labels, check to see if they have those preservatives in them, because preservatives are going to kill the good bacteria. And the same thing with yogurts. And so when you're checking the labels on the yogurts, check to see how much added sugar they have, because the added sugars, again, are going to kill the bacteria that you're trying to add. So if you can make your own, that's going to be the best. But again, I know some people don't have time to make their own. So a good probiotic supplement, and I have if you're interested in knowing what it is that I take, I would be happy to share that with you as well. But those are some good. Now let's talk about the prebiotic foods. So the prebiotic foods are going to feed those bacteria. So that includes garlic, onion, and leeks. Now I'm smiling because I love these foods. I love to put a huge amount of garlic in my food. So if it calls for 1 clove, I'm going to put at least 2, maybe 3 cloves of garlic in there. Same thing with onions. So I made burgers tonight, caramelized onion burgers tonight, and I love onions. The rest of my family doesn't love onions, so I took the entire onion and I ate the whole onion all by myself. So between the onion and the garlic, I get to brush my teeth, because otherwise my family thinks I stink. But those types of foods are good for your gut and your gut bacteria. Who else loves garlic? Anybody out there watching love garlic? If you do, tell me in the comments. Tell me I'm not alone for being a garlic lover. All right, other anti-inflammatory foods include leafy greens. So get in that spinach and that kale and those good deep leafy greens. Those are anti-inflammatories. Also blueberries and pomegranates. So you kind of get in a pattern here. Those deep colored foods, those deep blueberries, those deep reds, pomegranates, even the dark red cherries are all good anti-inflammatory foods. And then finally the spices. Now I love spices too. So Turmeric and ginger are great anti-inflammatories, but really any spices are going to help. So those black peppercorns and those cayenne peppers and other spicy peppers, chipotle peppers, all of those types of good deep spices are great anti-inflammatory. So I love all of those different things. And what else can you do? So we've talked about different types of foods and some inflammatory foods to avoid and some anti-inflammatory foods that you want to get in your system. But what else can you do? Well, you can reduce your stress. And I know it doesn't sound, it sounds easier than what it actually is, but there's a couple different things that you can do. You can do meditation, you can do yoga, you can improve your sleep, you can practice some self-care that can help with reducing that stress. You can improve your sleep or get more sleep, because there's a lot of people who are sleep deprived, and when you're sleep deprived, it causes inflammation because your body can't heal itself. So if you're interested and you're having trouble sleeping, drop a comment, send me a message on my Facebook page. Let me know that you want to know a little bit more about sleep. I would love to share my tips with you for better sleep. Avoid toxins. Avoiding toxins. There are toxins everywhere. And I know I've done a video about this before. I could do another video about it. But cleaners, a lot of your cleaners in your house are toxins and toxic to your skin and your lungs. Phthalates and parabens are both toxic and can cause inflammation in your skin. In fact, they are considered hormone disruptors, and because of that can cause inflammation throughout the body. And then plastics. We know about BPA, so there's a lot of labels that now say no BPAs on there, but you also have to think about the plastics that you're storing your food in and the plastic that your food comes packaged in. Anytime, even their bottled water. So anytime that plastic gets heated up, some of those toxins leach into your food. And so it's very important to pay attention to the plastics that you're putting your food in. Don't ever put plastics in the microwave, especially if you've got food in them. So I've got a great glass set of dishes that I cook in the microwave with and I store my food in, just to help minimize that toxicity that might be leaching into my food. And then exercise. So exercise. People are sitting more than they ever have before. People are more sedentary than they've ever been before. And so sitting is now considered the new smoking. So you've got to get up. If you have an office job, if you have a job where you're sitting a lot, make sure you're getting up every hour and doing some sort of a walk to the bathroom. If you're drinking a lot of water, that's a great way to make sure that you're getting up every hour, because you're going to be going to the bathroom and taking care of that. And so try to get in 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes of exercise a couple of times a week. Just anything that you can do to get your body moving helps reduce that inflammation. So hopefully you found these tips valuable. If you did, feel free to drop a comment, share it with somebody who you think needs to hear about this. And if you want more information on my sleep tips, drop a comment, send me a message. I'd love to share those with you, totally free. No strings attached. I just love helping people learn more about how to get better with their health, how they can improve their health, how they can eat better, feel better, and have more health and happiness in their life. So thanks for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video and helping you get healthy.